Welcome back, Zach here. ESPN has been touting this year's coming Final Four, the NCAA Men's Division I tournament, which will fall on April 4th, 4-4, as an epic. And the teams involved in that are the University of Kentucky, Wisconsin, Michigan State, and Duke. And the start times are curious themselves. 5:49, 3:09. Remember, the first tournament occurred in the year 39. The first men's tournament was in the year 1939. And this year, Kentucky has a chance to become the first unbeaten team to win the championship in 39 years. They defeated Western Virginia 78-39 in the Sweet 16. And in the Elite Eight, they advanced over Notre Dame. Now, I wrote a blog post earlier saying, is the tournament getting presidential? This was the president's bracket, and I noticed in his pick of Wisconsin and Arizona, and what's so curious about this is how he crossed out NC. He didn't do this for any other spot on the thing. Just right here, he crossed out NC and put in Wisconsin, and, if this is what they put out in the media, there's got to be a reason for that. But anyway, Wisconsin is one of two states with a gematria of 44. The other is Georgia, the fourth state. And Arizona sums to 84, just like Obama with Jewish gematria. Also, his birthday is August 4th. And think about it, he's the 44th president, like the gematria of Wisconsin. If you watch ESPN, they've been showing number 44 all week. Wisconsin equals 44. They won their game on the date with 44 numerology. I covered that in an earlier post. Now they're going to play on 4-4. Big game. And they have a chance to upset Kentucky, who's going at this thing for the first time in 39 years. So what's curious about Kentucky and Wisconsin, there's another connection to the president here. As I just mentioned, Arizona sums to 84 with simple English gematria, like Obama with Jewish gematria, and his birthday is August 4th. In the case of Notre Dame, the head coach Mike Bray has a life number of 84. His mother just died suspiciously at the age of 84, and he doesn't seem to care a wink. And they lost to Kentucky with a curious score of 66 points. Notice Duke also advanced with that score. 68, that's the flip of 86. The word triangle is 86. The word pyramid is 86. The word republic is 86. And what this thing is a distraction for the republic. A predetermined sports game that the fans do not know. They don't realize it's like the WWF, but it is. So both these teams advanced over 84. And Kentucky in gematria sums to 110. Guess what the word president sums to? If I can spell it right. I did not spell it right. Truth seeker, there's only one T in president. President sums to 110, just like Kentucky. You know what else is interesting, Truth seeker? On September 11th, it was buildings 1 and 2 that fell first. The name Rockefeller sums to 110. And it was David Rockefeller who proposed the World Trade Centers and Nelson Rockefeller who approved them, the 49th governor. Twin towers with Pythagorean gematria sums to 49, and these buildings were 110 stories tall. The name Osama bin Laden sums to 110. And with Pythagorean gematria, it sums to 47, which this website does not show. But I teach in my introductory video on my page. Easy to do. Very similar. They're interrelated. Building 7 that fell on September 11th was 47 floors tall. Each floor was 47,000 square feet. Important numbers. So anyway, Kentucky's 110. And like I said in this, is it getting presidential? It really seems like it is. Like I said, the numbers are hooked up to the real current events that we're told about through our mainstream media. It's all an interconnected web. If what I'm saying sounds like madness to you, please watch more of my videos. I feel like I've made enough of a case that this is beyond any shadow of a doubt. It's not just this example. This is an ongoing example. All these numbers connect. And as I said in the football season, it was the number 44 to follow to the Super Bowl. The Patriots won it in the 44th year of being in their conference. They defeated the Baltimore Ravens and the Indianapolis Colts, who were once the Baltimore Colts that had won the Super Bowl 44 years earlier. Johnny Unitas was the quarterback of that team, who died on September 11th, 2002, the one-year anniversary of the tragedy. Also, True Seeker, I haven't said it yet, but 84, like George Orwell's book 1984, 84, United States of America with Pythagorean gematria sums to 84. That book begins on April 4th, 4-4, a lot like this tournament. Down here, Louisville, Michigan State, I said to watch out for the number 76 on my written blog before the game began, because the name Izzo, Tom Izzo's the head coach, Izzo sums to 76, and this is the 76th year of the tournament, which began in 1939. And look, Michigan State ended up winning by 76. I said, look at that. How ridiculous. That's how scripted it is. And then Duke advanced with 66, and it was their 33rd win of the season. If you write out the word 33, if you write out the word 33, I can't type today, and sum it with Pythagorean gematria, it sums to 66, a number of much importance. The Queen of England owns 6.6 billion acres of land. She's the largest landowner in the world. She owns 6.6 acres. It's a very important number. London burned to the ground in 1666. Watch my video post on 66. Important number. One second. Okay, so we're talking about these numbers and how they relate to the tournament. Let's move along. We looked at the president's bracket. ESPN is touting this Final Four as an epic. And again, this has a lot to do with numerology. The date of April 4th has a connection to the word 44 in gematria. And think about the date 4-4. It's a lot like 44. If you write out 44 and sum it with simple English gematria, it sums to 144. April 4th also sums to 144. If you go back and watch my post on the Super Bowl, the conclusion of it, I did something on Revelation 7:4 and the number 144,000, and I said watch going forward this year for the numbers 144 and 52. And 52. And we've seen a lot of that, including this recent plane crash. The Germanwings flight. It's coded with these exact numbers. 144 passengers. It was in the air for 52 minutes. This stuff's creepy because it's all part of a pre-planned epic that is being carried out against us every day, essentially. The word epic sums to 33. And if you watch my video posts, I've made up the name The Gang of 33 to describe these people who are behind this. They're Freemasons. They're into this numerology and gematria. Kentucky's favored to win the tournament. I'm not sure they are going to win it. Possibly they will. But, they're really being built up, so them losing would be a big news story. But there's no point even betting on them because of what the odds are. If you bet $5, you'll win $1. It's 5 to 6 odds. So anyway, his name, John Vincent Calipari, is curious, but more curious than his name, gematria, and his birthday is that he has also coached Memphis and Massachusetts to the Final Four before, but both of those accomplishments have been taken away for corruption charges against the team. However, he was freed of those charges. But Massachusetts is one of 3 states with a Pythagorean gematria of 33. Memphis sums to 47, as does Kentucky with Pythagorean gematria, and as we just looked, it also sums to 110. The word president sums to 47 with Pythagorean gematria. Again, we're showing the connections to current events and this current president. Also notice that Kentucky's last game was their 227th. That's a curious number. It's possible they are set up for failure, but we will see. Wisconsin is an interesting opponent for them. And number 15 on Wisconsin, Sam Decker, a name that sums to 33 with Pythagorean gematria, as does Sam, which sums to 33 with simple English gematria. And where's the number 15? That's their next opponent. And there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of numbers in Wisconsin's favor for this game, especially it falling on the date of 4-4. And the fact that Calipari's coached his 227th game and is kind of a slimy guy, Are the elites going to reward the slimy guy or set him up for this big loss? And just to show you that these numbers are no true joke, True Seeker, like I said, the name Izzo equals 76. It's the 76th year of the tournament. Look at this shot ESPN gives us. What's curious about this? What's this jersey they got conveniently positioned in the background? 44. Big number for this tournament. April 4th, 44th president. MLK was assassinated April 4th. The first president to die in office, William Henry Harrison, died on April 4th. He was a Whig. Whigs are the original Republicans. Whig equals 47 with simple English gematria. Republican equals 47 with Pythagorean gematria, as does president. And you know what else? Caesar sums to 47 with simple English gematria. Julius Caesar, said to have been assassinated in 44 BC. And we'll get more into that in a second. The reason these numbers are so huge in sports right now is because they're huge in the major event that's coming. Again, here's the scores: 76-70. Duke wins 66-52. Coach K. K is the 11th letter. Coach K coaches Duke. If you add up 1 through 11, it sums to 66. They got their 33rd win. If you write out 33, it sums to 66. After they won the highlight, and they still keep showing it, Coach K is hugging his player Cook. Cook has a gematria of 44, just like the word kill. And he was born in the year 47, Coach K. The date he won on over Gonzaga, numerology of 47. What's interesting is Gonzaga, who they defeated, scored 74 in their previous game, and that's the number of the martyr. In college basketball history, the first championship was between Oregon and Ohio, the only two states with 47 and 74 gematria, just like this year's college football championship between Oregon and Ohio, the first with a playoff system. Numbers of significance, True Seeker, college and pro game. Tom Izzo with Pythagorean gematria sums to 43, like March was simple English gematria when these tournaments happened. The original college basketball tournament was the NIT. NIT with simple English gematria is 43, and once upon a time that was the more important tournament. Tom Izzo advancing with 76 points. To show you the legitimacy of our language, these numbers, these dates, look at the festival of Lupercalia, which falls on the 44th day of the year, February 13th. With leap years, that leaves 322 days left in the year. Interesting. But it falls on the 44th day of the year, and with Pythagorean gematria, it sums to 44. Many people comment and say this Pythagorean gematria is nonsense. No, it is not. There's just way too much proof otherwise. And check this out. Lupercalia in Jewish gematria sums to 399, just like the word murder. Kill sums to 44 with simple English gematria. I'm just showing how all these things sync up, how well thought out they are. It shows you the brilliance behind our language. These people are sick, but they're also brilliant. There's no doubt. Before the game, I asked if Coach K will be 11-3. That's what he would have been if he lost, or 12-2. Came out 12-2. He defeated Mark Few. Mark Few has had many disappointments with Gonzaga in the tournament, but he's also brought their team to prominence. His name has a simple English gematria of 77. This has connections to Freemasonry, the American meridians, the 77th meridian. The word Christ also equals 77. These numbers get paired up a lot. Court equals 77. Judge equals 47. Gavel equals 47. Jury equals 74. Not a coincidence. Beast is 47. Beauty is 74. Jesus is 74. Cross is 74. Christian is 47 with Pythagorean gematria. And of course, Gonzaga is a Catholic school related to Christianity. And just to show how this link up in sports works, this past weekend in Martinsville, it should be noted that Izzo was born in the year 55, the coach of Michigan State with the 76 connections. And this year, 55 was the number at this. The FedEx car won, number 11. 44 plus 11 is 55. Notice that FedEx is 44. But NASCAR originates out of North Carolina. This race was on the date Sunday with 47 numerology. NASCAR was established in 47, the year of the first professional basketball championship. And look who he's got here. Jordan, basketball player sponsorship. Jordan has many North Carolina connections where he went to school. This year, Dean Smith died, his coach. Name equals 93. They won the championship in 93. Also, Toyota's here. Toyota sums to 96. Freemason Company. This year, the tournament's on the 96th, or the championship is on the 96th day of the year, April 6th. All these sports, everything just links up. It's all predetermined. These people are paid like actors because they are. They're athletic actors. This whole weekend for the NASCAR race was about the number 55. Look at what cars they show, 33 and 22. Add those numbers together, you get 55, just like Martinsville, just like the name of the man the track is dedicated to, just like the year it was paved, just like Jeff Gordon, who's the active leading racer there. So much numerology in Sports Truth Seeker. They've been hoaxing us for a long time by the numbers. Izzo advanced over Patino. What's interesting about these two is they both have the same name gematria. Makes me want to look into more college coaches and see if that number comes up a lot, because those two are regarded as two of the best coaches. And it should be noted that Patino won the championship in 96 with Kentucky. This year's championship's on the 96th day. Kentucky's expected to be there and win. But maybe this is big hype for Michigan State upset year. The three teams that are in the tournament are all 1 seeds, except for Michigan State, the 7 seed. Interesting. Again, True Seeker, I have to emphasize that point about 47 and 74. The first Super Bowl was in the 47th season of the NFL. The first NBA championship was in the year 47. These numbers carry on through sports. The first college basketball championship was between Oregon and Ohio, the only two states with 47 and 74 gematria. The final score of that game was 46-33, and it wouldn't surprise me if a mistake was made and it was supposed to be 47. Maybe they weren't as good at the hoax back then. But I bet they were going for that. 46 is also an interesting number. The word hero equals 46, so maybe they did want that. In this case, Oregon won it. This year in the college football, Oregon, Ohio won it, which makes sense because that's the birthplace of football. But these numbers, it's just over and over repeating, recycling. This year, April 4th, the day of the Final Four, is the day of a blood moon and Passover. And in history, when these things have happened, big events have happened in society. Not necessarily on that day, but in close proximity. Within 2 weeks, you could say. So we'll see what happens this year. April 4th, April 6th, through the rest of the year. I expect something big before the end of 2015. And, coaches, again, Truth Seeker, these coaches. We just saw Tom Izzo, number 76, up in front of the 44 banner. Once upon a time, it was Dean Smith doing similar things, grinning to the cameras, getting paid big money. And then he dies on a curious date. And you look through his history, and it's curious, curious numbers. That winning percentage. The word master equals 76. So anyway, keep your eye on Michigan State for any big upsets. But at the end of the day, also remember how these numbers connect to everything going on. Dean Smith won in the 82 and 93 seasons. Today in the news, it was announced that Obama's going to Kenya for the first time while president. It's 2015, 33 years later. His father died there in 82. A more recent story before the plane crash was Robert Durst, the homicidal billionaire. Durst equals 82. His murder traced back to 82. And again, that story's coming up 33 years later. Last year in the NBA, the Clippers owner had to resign on a scandal that was around racism. He'd been an owner for 33 years. Longest tenured owner. Hoaxes by the numbers. Killing by the numbers. Winning by the numbers. Losing by the numbers. And these numbers don't look good for President Barack Hussein Obama, who is a walking, talking psyop, meant to provoke everybody at this point, even his original supporters, which I knew would happen. I predicted it. I have a written blog, different written blog from back then, and I predicted the Obama presidency was meant to create a generation of cynics and people who tune out even further. And now look, it's not even that far down the road. We live in a world with sprayed skies and all other sorts of crazy nonsense. Hoaxes every day in the media, and everyone acts like it's normal. It's maddening. All right, Truth Seeker.